Ooch, and we may see our first Malphite.
All right, that was the kind of the champion left there. I didn't know if Anguish or I'm So Fresh really... The thing is, actually, Malphite can play AP mid as well. Malphite can go in all of these lanes, basically, but that was the one champion I was wondering if they knew how to play, because that's... When you try to deny initiators and you leave Malphite open, that opens you into a world of very interesting situations. I'm very intrigued to see how this plays out, though. I think Malphite is the right pick here. They need Malphite or something similar in their lineup. I just don't know how well it's going to do for them.
Well, Light Binding only grabs 2. That could be a combination of Kha'Zix, Elise, or Malphite if it is chosen. So it's a really good way to get around that disengage that they have put on Anexis right now.
And what I also actually like about Malphite...
Cool.
Yeah, so that is Malphite. Now, the funny thing is, he's up against Rumble, which is a better matchup for Rumble here.
Right.
Rumble's a good lane against Malphite. I would almost then expect Malphite to go in the jungle here, just because he's going to have a safer time of it. He doesn't need to get farmed. He just needs to land his ultimate. The crowd control doesn't increase when you level it up. So as soon as he's level 16, he's kind of just is Malphite by that point. So I would kind of expect that a little bit more, but I guess we'll see.
Yep, Millenium looking very comfortable. A few jokes being shared before the start of this game, and at the end of the picks and bans, they may have found something funny and amusing that we didn't see. But nevertheless, we do see Malphite for the first time. It's going to be interesting to see how this one matches up. So here we go then for map number 2 of the semi-final. It is Millenium versus Anexis. It's game on.
Thanks a lot, guys. And Jason, we're ready to kick off the second game. We've got... you saw me just putting my headset on there. I forgot that I had the badge around my neck. Paul called me out this time because I got him last time. I think that was the point of that one. 1-1 now, he says. So, Jason, we've got the 2 lineups in here. We saw Millenium having what I would say was an easy game in game number 1.
They had some fun.
How's it going to come over in game number 2?
I'm still not a fan of that Lux. I mean, you have an Elise who's going to build a tanky. You have Anguish who's actually going Malphite top lane. We're going to see Kha'Zix in the jungle yet again. You have a Taric, a Graves. I mean, who are you going to burst down in that team? Absolutely no one. And that's the downside to having a Lux. That's also the upside. If you do have a squishy team, you can do that. And then you have, I mean, you have Caitlyn Lulu, which is kind of nice for that pushing. Lulu with the Glitter Lance, follow up the Piltover Peacemaker. You can get that lane shoved really hard. But against a Graves who can shove it right back at you, it's going to be really tough for them to do that.
So who
do I have to
actually
win?
answer my question in the end?
I'm trying to step around it. I'm going to give it over to Millenium, though. It's just the Lux. I'm not a fan of it.
I think that winning game number 1 as well will have built their confidence up so much. I mean, it was almost too easy for them. Like, they just went about those outer turrets all down, I think before 10 minutes even.
It's like they had a playbook, and they were just like, all right, step 1, do this, step 2, do this. Step 3, question mark, step 4, profit.
So yeah, I actually have to just pretty much agree with what you said there. And they also have Armor of the 5th Age Taric, which is also a bonus.
And you also let through Kha'Zix, and you let through Elise. You can't let through those really strong champions right now. It's basically where the meta's going. Ban out the really overpowered champions. Forget about what they play, unless it's, Tabs. Obviously, you kind of maybe want to ban out the Fizz, but you can't afford to let these champions get through because they're just going to demolish you. We saw Tabs on it last game on Kha'Zix. Just completely destroy the enemy team.
So here we go then, game number 2 of our first semi-final here at the Intel Extreme Masters Brazil. It's Millenium taking on Anexis with Millenium 1-0 in the lead. Jason, can we expect any level 1 action?
Not out of Anexis, out of Millenium. As you see, well, it's easy for me to say as I see him crossing the river right now, but they have a really good team forward. We're going to see Overpower make it caught right here. And he does, in fact.
Oh, the stun actually went down, but he'd already flashed away. Cocoon will land onto Overpower, but they're too close to the turret there for anything to really happen. And we can see Millenium have said, well, we forced them away. That means we've got full control of their jungle now. They've put that pink ward down over by the blue bush, and it looks like they will actually head away from it.
Yeah, the major downside right now is Millenium actually came out behind, and actually I'll let you go ahead and take this over.
Wow, Angus getting binded up there. Are they going to be able to follow in for any more damage? Lulu, actually, I'm So Fresh is going to jump in there. That could end up costing him. He has to flash away after being ignited. Fat Mama going to have to do the same. Zazuz actually jumps in there. First blood, Caitlyn.
Angus second.
Got caught. Second kill. It's a double kill for Caitlyn, and that couldn't have gone any better for Anexis.
That was such a misplay by Millenium. I mean, they went in, and they actually committed themselves to pick up. We saw Elise pick up Cocoon. We saw Kha'Zix actually pick up Leap, which is not what you want to take when you're jungling. And from that, they started to run away because they had, more of a comp about or based around catching someone and blowing them up. But they couldn't win in a straight-on 5v5 team fight, so they ended up losing 2 members, giving Caitlyn a double kill, and that's so deadly because now she's coming back to lane with a longsword and a Dorn's Blade.
Yeah,
That's going to be a lot of pain here, and we can see the lane switches come around now. Obviously, Creatine and Fat Mama didn't want to go up against that 2-0 Caitlyn. But the problem is, how does it go on the other side then? I mean, that's a Malphite that's got to now deal with it in a 1v2 lane.
I'm sure Angus just like, thanks guys, thanks for giving it 2 kills,
Cheers,
not the lane
dudes.
against her. Yeah, cheers. But I mean, it's gonna be tough for him. At least he has that shield to regenerate to, you know, keep taking a little bit of harass, maybe get a little bit of farm here and there. He does have the ability to farm with a little bit of range with Seismic Shard if he wants to level it up first, but with that ground slam, it will late game, as long as he makes it there, completely shut down that Caitlyn.
Yeah, but how much damage is it actually going to stop out of a Caitlyn that's already got that longsword and the Doran's blade?
But later on, the ground slam, the attacks reduction is just so devastating, it's ridiculous.
If he can get anywhere near him.
I hope he could with his ultimate. I hope.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
I suppose you're right with that one. But anyway, the starts that we're seeing here, I'm so fresh going for that blue buff, already got his red buff done. Overpow also got his red buff already, and he's headed over to blue.
One thing I love seeing right now in the top lane out of Zaz is you see a pink ward in the top side of the bush, or top side of the river, then you see another ward towards the middle. And because of that, he can see any sort of 3-man gate coming into that top lane, which is what you expect out of a 2v1 lane like this. So playing it very smart right now. We do see Tarek actually warding, won't be able to spot that with the pink ward, but still knows it will be there. And just overall, Nexus looking like a completely different team this game.
Well, the start certainly helped them out, that's for sure. Well, we've seen it. We've seen these kind of games being turned around before, not just once or twice. You know, that can definitely happen, as we are seeing now Overpower coming up towards this top lane. Will he be able to get in there? With that stun of Tarek, you'd imagine that they should be fairly safe from that one. If Overpower does decide to make his move, doesn't have flash available to get right over the top of that wall, but he is going to come in there, and they've spotted him. And he will surely back away, or did they spot him? But certainly now they've spotted him as he is going to go in towards Creatine. Where's the stun out of Fat Mama? May even just save it right now because he knows that there's no immediate danger.
Oh, I'm so fresh coming in.
It's a bait, yeah. I'm so fresh is coming in from the side. There is Overpower getting exhausted. They've got the slow, the stun comes in. I'm so fresh will bring it back 2-1. Great gank.
Great game, but unfortunate that I'm so precious red buff ticked and got that final blow on Overpower. They could have got that double buff over to Cretan, which would have given him insane amount of lane dominance. That turret definitely would have died. There's absolutely no farm that's actually get from it, but such a great bait. I mean, I was watching, I was like, you were mentioning it. Did they see him? I mean, we saw him go in as they do go for a dive on the turret.
Here we go, Fat Mama gets the heal off right at the last second. They're going to dive in. Creatine tanking up the turret. One more hit will save him. The barrier was down, and Millenium bringing it back straight away to 2-2. And again, I'm not 100% sure why he stuck around there, because 3 of them, they've got the stuns, they've got the slows. Dangerous stuff.
He almost did pick up a double kill, though, if you look at it. Cretan and Fat Mama very low on life. It would have been a great play if he actually, you know, kind of made that happen. But still, you know, his turret now very low. He actually died. He only has 6 CS compared to that counterpart in the top lane with 22. Rumble's going to be very far behind. He's not one of those champions that need a lot of farm, as we saw last game with Angus. But still, you need some sort of farm. You need some sort of beginning to get yourself going.
Well, there's the first turret of the game coming down for Anexis. That Caitlyn who got the first blood and resulted in a double kill there. Really having the power, and it's picked up now that Vamp Scepter plus the Berserker Grooves right off the very get-go. And, you know, those assists as well, which you didn't really mention. 2 assists across the board from the start is a real vital thing as well.
Yeah, I really have to agree with that. Just the amount of gold it gives you. I mean, Freak talks about it. Actually, pretty much most casts is that, you know, getting those assists in completely gives you an advantage in a 1v1 kind of fight. But one thing I'm kind of been looking at, Joe, while you've been talking, is that this mid lane's been very kind of passive so far. And I'm kind of surprised at that. I mean, we do have a Chalice done on Lux. We do have great range harass out of Tabs. He only has a Crystalline Flask, but still, he easily can get on top of Lux and easily do a lot of damage to her. We do have Ice Rush trying to visit this top lane yet again, and it would be actually a very smart play to shut down Arcwell as much as possible, but he is spotted by a ward and a trap. Grom's going to face check it.
Yeah, Grom actually going in there. I'm so fresh. Can they get in? Not quite. But still, nice little bit of play coming out of I'm so fresh. That ward from Grom, though, will keep them safe for a good while. So AD carry support in this top lane. And yeah, we are seeing Xin Zhao coming in. Will they have the damage? There is the Ignite down on towards Angush. Overpower going to come in. He gets exhausted. And the flash away from Angush will keep him safe.
So close on his part. He wasn't even level 6. He wasn't even close to it. And he was overextended that far. Had to commit that flash to get away. And that's going to put him a little bit farther behind. Rumble going to be able to catch up now in terms of CS because they did have that lane switch since they took that bomb turret first. But now you're going to have Caitlyn and Lulu against this Graves Tarek in the top lane. And it just comes down to if Fat Mama can land a nice stun onto either one of them, Cretan easily has that damage to just blow them up.
So where's the next action going to come in? It's 9.3 thousand to 8.6 thousand gold. That first turret, of course, already taken down by Anexis in the bottom lane. Although this top lane turret is low for Anexis, but the fact is it's 2v2 up there, and they should be fairly safe with that one for now.
Well, yeah, for now, definitely. But we do have Fresh. Looks like he wants to head over towards that top side. He's about halfway to level 6. And once he gets that, he's going to be able to get these ganks off very easily once he gets that Evolve Void Spike. The top lane, actually, without Creek getting very low.
Wow, he's ignited up there. Actually has to flash away, and he will just about survive that one. But there was a stun coming down onto Arkwell, who just turned around and said, well, you know what? I've got the damage on you. I've got those Berserker Greaves, the Doran's Blade. I've got the Vamp Scepter in there as well. I've got a lot of damage to throw your way.
Yeah, and with those flashes, both of them being down for the 80 carries. You do see Fresh coming in. It's complete time for him to do that. They do get the stun onto Caitlyn.
Yeah, Caitlyn could be in trouble. Nice Splinter Lance coming down onto IEM Fresh. And with that, they decide, okay, we can't really do anything, but they're going to try and turn it around here. IEM Fresh already losing a decent amount of health, but he will jump away to safety.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he wasn't level 6, wasn't able to get that range slow that probably would open up that gank completely. Though, kind of surprised, Overpower hasn't visited this top side just yet, because Cretan, I mean, we just saw it there with that trade. We saw Caitlyn get stunned, and yet she turned it around, did great damage to the enemy's team right there. And I'm surprised he hasn't visited the top at all, actually. Well, I mean, he was there for the beginning when they got baited in, but that's it. But they do have an invade going on this blue buff, trying to keep it away from Tabs. And they do get that over to Lux, so Tab's going to have a little bit of a tougher time, doesn't have a chalice to keep up with Lux's regen.
Yeah, I still think this top lane could be the explosive one.
I agree.
Yeah, with the slow and that polymorph coming out, we see there Cretan having to quick draw his way back towards that turret, but Anexis just pure bully in this top lane at the moment.
That's what you kind of expect out of a Lulu Caitlyn. I mean, you have that insane slow coming out of Lulu. You have the pushing power of that kind of composition. One thing you really have to worry about is that stun, but with that double kill we saw go onto Arkwell, he's, you know, with the Berserker Boots, like you're saying, he has attack speed to pretty much outdo Graves. He's tanky enough with the Doran's Blade and the Vamp Scepter for that regen that he can't really, or he doesn't have to really be afraid of that combo. We do have Cretan though, he is level 6, he does have the potential to burst her down, but we do have barrier on Arkwell, and it's just going to come down to if he can hit that barrier quick enough to stop any potential bursting to happen. Burstability, Joe, I'm going to bring that word back.
Yeah, and I think the problem is that when he's full HP, and obviously he's got plenty of regen to come in there as well, that even if you get the stun onto him and unload the buckshot, he's just got a 90 caliber net away, pretty much, without losing more than half HP, I should imagine.
And they can heal it up.
Yeah, now we're seeing Overpower actually coming in here. Are they going to try and bait this one out? Ultimate comes down from Grom. Here comes Overpower into the fight. Cretan going very, very low. He gets finished off. Batman just about walking away. Well, there's the ace in the hole, and now IEM Fresh trying to escape. They're going to dive this one, and that will be a double kill for Overpower. Great play out of Anexis.
Very great play. Very great play out of them. They knew the IEM Fresh was coming in. We do have Tabs coming in from the Tri-Bush. I don't think he can do anything about this. He needs to be very careful because he could easily be poked down trying to, wow, actually doing great damage over to Arkwell.
Yeah, good damage, but at the end of the day, they've lost 3 men there. Tabs is going to get himself some farm in this top lane. Let's have a look at the big picture. 5-2 in kills, 1-0 still in turrets, 14,500 gold to 12.3 thousand gold. After 10.5 minutes, it's certainly looking like a different game to the last one we saw.
And the thing is, Zaz's in the bot lane. He's actually been bowling around English. I mean, he was behind 30 CS, actually about 20 CS, comes back in the game, keeps a push up against his own turret, and he's not getting punished at all by it. IEM hasn't really visited this lane to shut him down. We do have a little bit of a roaming Fat Mama now, but it just seems a little bit too late. I mean, English doesn't have any damage to go for a kill on someone else. He actually gets caught himself.
Yeah, Fat Mama going to get the stun down here on towards Zazasu. Directly backs off there. Kha'Zix and Graves, he was spotted here by this ward, so Zazas knowing that he couldn't go any more offensive than that. But you mentioned the whole passiveness of that middle lane, and the thing is, 2 assists with that Lux enabled her to get that chalice early on, and in the meantime he's just been farming. That Athene's Unholy Grail is now finished as a result of that one, and Angush has come back into this top lane where he may just face a few problems. Zazas here again going in towards Fat Mama. IEM Fresh and Tabs did come down from that one, but they should be losing this top tower soon, and Angush is going to have a few problems. He will use Unstoppable Force there to get in, but just doesn't do any damage.
I think that was used for like farming or something right there, because they didn't really accomplish too much. But at least for Millenium in their own favor, they have 4 members towards the bottom side of the map, so if they want to go for a dragon, they easily could get that done. They have English to top lane to stop them. Obviously can't stop them anymore with that ultimate to stop from backing, but they may potentially lose that turret. English still trying to farm under turret, trying to keep it well, obviously the minions off the turret, just to really deny that pushing power that Anexis has. And if he can continue to do this, it's going to buy Graves and Tarek enough time to maybe shut down this Rumble a little bit more. We had Overpower, though, going to get spotted in Spawn and Bush, going for the engage.
He's going to go in there, actually get stunned. Rumble ultimate does come down at full range, and we're going to see the flash from Overpower getting in there. Is exhausted, does get the knock-off onto Creates, and Rumble's in there as well. Overpower now on a killing spree. Great players. I'm So Fresh has to come around finally to cover this top lane.
And as we saw in game 1, Millenium outplaying completely Anexis. It seems to be the complete opposite right now. I'm supposed to get very low. He might get ulted here and actually die. And he doesn't.
No, but I think probably could have had him there, to be honest. But, you know, ifs and buts. Let's just say that. Meanwhile, Dragon being done here by Anexis. After they got control of this bottom side of the map, they will be taking this one without any replies whatsoever coming out by Millenium. Top turret has now gone down as well, and as I said, totally different game from Anexis in this second matchup.
It's like the same game, but the teams are switched this time because we have 2 turrets now down at the 13-minute mark. It wasn't obviously as
fat mama
getting caught
dead
again.
mama.
I mean, we saw him yesterday on his Zarya. Even Red Eye pointed out multiple times that he got caught, over and over and over, and it kept costing his team a couple of kills. Obviously, here it's going to cost them a lot more since they are really far behind. And still, with those 2 outer turrets down, they can easily 5-man push this middle turret, get that one down, and then pretty much just create opportunities in the enemy's jungle.
Yep. I'm wondering how good Anexis are going to be at closing the game out compared to what we saw from Millenium in that last game, though.
Angus has ulti.
Yeah, Angus does have that ultimate. Rumble's only at half HP. Elisa's coming in here as well. Cocoon will miss. There is unstoppable force used onto Celiva. Zazas going low. Zazas will die. Here comes the laser. It's a kill on towards Kha'Zix, but Graves joining in. That's a 2v1. That's the kind of thing that you can't afford to let happen when you're in the lead.
Yeah, very true. You kind of just got Graves completely back into the game. He got a kills free bonus off of Overpower and Tabs.
Wow.
I'm so impressed because he's not building that traditional Warmog build. He's actually going damage, and because of that, he really, really hurts. As you saw when he's going head-to-head against Rumble right there, Zaz just had to run for his life, and even then, he got bursted down extremely quickly. I'm really loving that build. That's the way I love to play Elise. Obviously, I'm not the best player in the world, but you just see how much damage it really can do with the percent plus the extra percent you get off of AP.
Yeah. Really dangerous time still, in my opinion, from Anexis. I mean, Millenium, we said it before, that they're definitely confident as these builds do go along. Anexis need to make sure that they push their advantage here. If they don't make that advantage account, Millenium are certainly a team capable of turning it right around.
That's the thing with Caitlyn, though. I mean, she has that lull in the mid game, and when Riv and I were casting yesterday, I kept saying that there's this window. There's this time where she's really weak, and there's this point where she hits critical mass. Actually, we do have Grom getting engaged upon Dab, and Tab's going to have to back. Oh, no, he doesn't have to.
Oh, Grom going very, very low. Elise dives in there, gets the kill. Tab's now going low as well. Laser comes in, and well, he's used the repel, gets back into the fight. Tabs is still alive. They've turned it around. Here comes Graves, and Tabs, he just about dies there. Right at the end of things. Overpower going to be stunned up. Have they got the damage to finish off? He's going to try and get away. Angush is very low. Overpower's going to chase him down. Gets that kill. Are they going to get in onto Graves? He flashes away. Zazas now onto I'm So Fresh and Fat Mama. Both of them right underneath the turret. Zazas being stunned up there, and Graves will get the kill. And that will be a 3-2. Actually, yeah, it's not over yet. Overpower coming in there. The ultimate comes out of Caitlyn. He's stunned underneath the turret. Double kill for Graves. Wow. Wow. Amazing play out of Millenium.
Very amazing play. A 3 for 3 in the end of that. Just wow. I can't even analyze that because it was just so well played. We had Creed was able to kite enough. He flashed out of range of Arquel's ultimate to not get killed by it. Just amazing. That just shows the skill level that these teams are playing at. And I was mentioning Caitlyn before we got into that fight is that there's that lull in the mid game, and there's a certain point where she completely takes off and does pretty much the most damage in the game besides a Vayne or a Kog'Maw. And the more kills she gets, the closer to that window she hits. But the thing is, you were mentioning our Anexis hasn't really made a push right now. They haven't pushed their advantage, and that's kind of the reason. They don't really have the ability to do that, especially when against a hard engage that you see at a Malphite.
Now we see Pink Wards helping clear out the vision on this bottom side with Dragon not too far away by now. And that will be a big win for Millenium if they can pick up this next Dragon. I mean, they're 3 kills behind. Yes, there's still 3 turrets behind, and that's the big thing now for Millenium, that their gold lead, I say their gold lead, their gold deficit is really about those turrets at this point.
yeah, there is a deficit, definitely, but the thing is, the teams are still very evenly matched in team fights, just because of just the early game power out of Millenium. And if they pick up a couple of turrets, they're going to keep taking that advantage, keep snowballing. English getting very low on the top side, though, being forced to back away. As the rest of the team is coming up from the bottom side of the river, but still you see Zaza's playing very smart, heading back towards his turret a little bit.
Yeah, that was like a totally obvious move from Zaza's side. I think that he saw that Anguish came back at him even though he's got half HP. Yeah, that probably indicates that someone is coming somewhere to try and shut him down. But either way, as I said, Dragon will be up fairly shortly.
Loving the build that Tabs actually went with the Lianchi's Torment to really counter the health stacking. You know, we talked about champions like Vayne, Kog'Maw are the real hard counter to that. The more health you build, they're just like, hey, you're giving me more damage, why not? Kind of thing. And the same works with Elise and stacking that Lianchi's Torment on top of that with the harass that she can do with her Q, you know, with her W. It's going to set up a lot of really easy team fights.
And we see laser used by Misfortune by Lux. That'd be incredible. And now a 3-man push in this middle lane from Millenium. They do have Arkwell. Celever just a little bit further back from that. He's actually recalling right now as they jump in on towards Lulu. Can Grom escape this one? Is he going to have to use his ultimate? The repel comes in. Will use the ultimate. Will that keep him alive? Tabs has taken a lot of damage. And he, well, I mean, that's one major thing taken out of any team fighting capability there. From, you know, the wild growth from Grom is a massive, massive factor when it comes to the next fight.
And the funny thing was,
not up.
It wasn't even the Lulu ultimate that saved him right there. It was the Caitlyn trap that locked down Tabs and prevented him from getting out of Spider Form to cocoon him and locking down Versus team to pick up the kill. So overall, great placement out of Arkel with those traps. But still, like you're saying, with that ultimate down, Malphite gets a really easy engage upon Anexis, and it's really up to Overpower to kind of not disengage, but to pretty much confuse Millenium by separating their team with his ulti.
Now we have Dragon up and available. Anexis pulling it out already. Razas is coming in to join. Overpower is there as well. 5-man Dragon currently for Anexis, and I don't think Millenium are going to get anywhere near this one. No, they're not. Dragon is taken, and Millenium don't have a single chance of that one. But here we go. Anguish actually coming in here. Are they going to go for the engage? Where's the unstoppable force? There's the light binding. The laser comes out. That is real bad news for Millenium. They don't have that unstoppable force. 2 kills already coming down. Fat Mama is very, very low. Can they finish him off? Rumble will get the finisher there. And Overpower's flashed over the wall. Tabs and Creatine headed north to try and escape this one. But Overpower is going to be able to cut them off. Will he be able to delay enough for the rest of his team to come down? Ace in the hole. Barriered away there by Creatine. Overpower is still somehow alive in this one. He will finally go down. But that is an ace for Anexis.
And Joe, that is what we were talking about with Lux. Either she's really good or really bad. She bursted down the tank of Millenium, and you can't be in that position to let that happen. English didn't even get his ultimate off to set up the entire fight, and if they can't make him survive, if he can't get that initiate, there's no way they're going to win these fights. But now we're going to have that top turret go down, and Anexis still barreling down on the second top tower, and they almost on the light binding.
Wow, the ultimate actually hit him there from Lux. And to be honest, Anexis didn't really lose too much health in that last fight either. Well, that's another great capitalization on that last fight, taking down the inner turret. Baron obviously not been taken, been up for 5.5 minutes by now. But Anexis, you know, they have enough of a lead where they can use Baron as bait right now. I still don't think that they're safe in team fights unless that Malphite. I mean, we saw there without the Malphite, it's just a no-go for Millenium.
Yeah, it's up to English to really set up these fights. It's like we saw on day 1 with Pain versus Nex. If a Mumu played by Pain could land that ult onto 3 or 4 members of the enemy team, they would win the fights. If he can't do the same here, there's no way they're going to be able to win this. You know, we do have tanky members with Rumble. We do have Xin Zhao, and they're beefy enough, and they have enough damage behind them to really be a threat to everyone on the other team. It's just really up to English to land that entire ulti, and it's just the way he's playing right now, it's not going to happen.
Let's have a look at the items now, because we have had a bit of time since we talked about that before. Double Warmogs already in place for Anexis. 1 on Rumble, 1 on Xin Zhao. We've got Infinity Edge, plus a Zeal on Caitlyn with that Vamp Scepter. Celever got the Theme's Unholy Grail in there, got the needlessly large rod plus that chain vest moving up towards Zonya's hourglass light. This is a lot of damage already coming out of Anexis. A lot of tankiness, and now they're on towards Tab. Ultimate from Rumble wasn't very good, but to be honest, Overpower is still really, really healthy as the flash comes out. Tabs will manage to pick up Zazas, but can he escape Xin Zhao? No, he can't. A 1-for-1 in the bottom.
And Joe, what the items we're seeing right now in Overpower, he has that Sunfire Cape as well as the Warmogs, and that, oh, he's so dead.
Yeah, Critania being bursted down. Oh, what a block from I'm So Fresh. Nice block, and that's just about all that they've got to save him. But now Fat Mama may be the one that dies, gets slowed, and then will be finished off by Grom, who's now 2-1-10.
Not a bad score for support. But we do have Overpower. Actually, he's going in on English.
Yeah, English is not safe by any means. A life binding lands again, and that is just one by one going down.
That's the story of Lux. When it works, it really works. It's the same thing as a Twist of Fate. I was trying to say, though, with Overpower, with that Sunfire Cape, that ability to get really quick health and armor shuts down an AD carry completely. Especially when you have I'm So Fresh as an AD champion with Kha'Zix, there's really nothing they can do to him besides having at least shut him down. But with all that health, there's not really how much you can do even with percent damage. So overall, that's why you keep seeing Zins over and over and over. We're seeing Millenium trying to come in for a steal potentially right here, but Baron go down very fast.
I don't think they're going to be in time for this one.
Oh.
No, there we go. Picked up the light binding lands onto I'm So Fresh. Look how low he's gone just from that combo there of Lux and Anexis pick up another big objective, and that gives them that 10,000 gold lead. And Millenium still haven't had a single turret.
And, well, yeah, very true. And the way the game is right now, this is a situation we're in. We have Anexis, they're very strong. We have Lux with 3 kills, able to pretty much one-shot I'm So Fresh. Probably could if she got the auto attacks off. She can do the same thing to Creedon and Fat Mama. We need to see Millenium build tanky. The problem is, if they keep building tanky, they're going to be lacking on the damage they need to kill anyone on Nexus, so they have to stall the game out long enough to be able to accomplish both of those feats. And that's not really easy to do. They don't have a composition to do that in their base as well, so just overall, Millenium going to have a tough time to drag the game out long enough to really counter how much burst the Nexus has.
How do they come back, though? I mean,
they have to get they need the tankiness, and they have to be able to hold their turrets long enough, at least their inhibitor turrets, to keep a Nexus from getting one of those down. Because once that is down, it creates an opportunity for a Nexus to go for split pushing. It creates opportunities for them to just bait in Barons. And if they do get that tankiness, and then they follow up with damage right after that, which they're going to have to, then they can start winning these fights. Even with English's ultimate right now, they're not going to create any opportunities to kill anyone. I'm pretty sure Celavar, with his flash up, which has been up for quite a while, he's not going to put himself in a position to get bursted down by Cretan, by Tabs, and by I'm So Fresh.
Well, currently, Nexus by far the stronger looking team in this one, which much needed after game number 1, where they pretty much got rolled over without even saying anything about it.
They're like, oh wait, oh, game's over.
Yeah, they rolled over and had their bellies tickled. That's a demon saying that I stole right there.
I've never heard him say that.
Maybe I just made it up, but it's a good saying nonetheless.
It is.
Because
like
that's exactly what happened to Anexis. So they've had this, obviously had a good chat about this in the kind of half-time, or third time, I suppose we could maybe call it, if Anexis push this one through to the victory. In terms of the items, again, AD carries, Caitlyn now, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Graves, Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer. This inner turret is going to be gone. Nothing that Millenium can do to hold that one. They don't want to fight right now.
And there's nothing they can do to really hold this turret. Zusi and Anexis trying to engage here, and they're not even afraid to tank under the turret, because Overpower just took damage from the enemy team, took a couple of turret hits, and his health still basically full.
Yeah, well, look at his, I mean, look what he's got. He's
3
got,
giant belt
items. They're going to go in here. Overpower going to be tanking this one up. Rumble actually is going to drop his ulti down. Angush did use Unstoppable Force, but that was maybe only delaying the inevitable here. Look at Overpower. He's been fighting 4 men, and he's not even dead yet. He's still got around about 1/5 of his health remaining. Zazas here does get stunned up. Tab's going to be chasing him down. Well, Arkwelt comes in to save the day, and they take that next, the inhibitor turret down.
The problem Millenium having is right now, you saw that last fight, which I hope they do at the analysis desk, is that you had Anguish engage, but he had no one to dive with him. He had no one to help him follow up with his ultimate. He hit a couple of members, but without any damage behind him, he just fell over and died. We saw the rest of the members of Millenium sit back to protect Graves, and they couldn't even do that. So that is just pretty much where it stands in these fights. And it's kind of a misplay on team composition, but still not exactly that. It's just a misplay on the entire game where they're just so far behind. Kha'Zix isn't able to dive in the backside, at least isn't able to, and Graves and Tarek are just so squishy that they have to run away from Overpower, especially when not having that last Whisper.
Well, that's the thing. Overpower was fighting against 4 of them. Angush goes in and, well...
He fought against 4, and he died. Overpower didn't.
Yeah, because he's got Warmogs. He's got Sunfire Cape. He's got a third Giant's Belt in there. I mean, even Rumble, Warmogs, second Giant's Belt in there as well. Let's see what they go back with and pick up. They've got plenty of cash to be doing so. There's a second Niantic Large Rod picked up by Lux. There's a blasting one coming out for Rumble, so ended up to that Rylai's. And also Overpower's got his chance to head off back home and spend another bunch of gold.
Oh, we might see first serve of the game, though, going over to Millenium here.
Or maybe not, as Lux clears it out completely. And Spider not going to be doing enough damage there. And again, Anexis managing to hold out. Here comes Overpower right into the middle of them. Anguish will use Unstoppable Force to actually get away from that one. Double flash in middle. Nice cocoon onto Celiva. But Overpower is still charging forward. Not going to be able to catch them, as I'm So Fresh has managed to split off this top turret. That will be turret number 2 of the game. But Anexis is still firmly in the lead on this one.
And seeing English, use that ult defensively just kind of tells him, oh, he's not even afraid of that turret. He's not afraid of anything.
Why would he be?
There's a Lux shield on top of that. Wow.
Yeah.
That just shows how one-sided this game is.
He's tanked like 7, 8, maybe even more hits from that, and not really worried him too much. I mean, how much health? He still has 2,200 health pretty much there remaining. And here we go then. Laser coming over. Fat Mama going very, very low. Oh, not quite the damage to finish off, but sending that Taric away. There's no Unstoppable Force. Having that stun not in the fight as well is going to be a big thing, as I'm So Fresh is forced to leap away from the fight.
And yeah, and that's still being very hesitant to engage here. They knew Taric was back. They knew they had a 5v4. They knew Anguish's ultimate wasn't up, just like you said, and yet they still didn't want to commit to it.
Well, better playing safe than end up being sorry by the end.
Yeah, and Baron's coming up soon, so there's no point, losing 4 or 5 members and then to potentially lose that Baron and get Millenium back in the game.
Well, next wave of minions going to be cleared out quickly by Millenium. Those light bindings just been thrown over and over and over again by Celiva. And they're still waiting, they're still pushing this bottom lane. And that's the whole fact again, that these super minions, you have to deal with them at some point. Graves is not there, so if they were to fight right now, Graves would be very late into the fight, if they're at all, by the time they'd gone down. And now Anexis starts to push through. Here we go. Overpower focusing first of all in towards I'm So Fresh. The light banding will land. There's the Rumble ultimate as well. Have they done enough damage to get themselves this inhibitor turret? Tab's also going to be hit. There is a laser coming across. Unstoppable Force comes into the back, but Anguish is dead. Overpower will split the team off. Overpower still somehow alive from that one with barely no HP. Fat Mama very low. Graves has already gone down, and that will be 3 kills coming out. I don't know how Overpower actually survived there in the end. But we can see Anexis going for the Nexus turrets.
I'm going to leave some silence there for that one, Joe.
Huh?
Anexis going for the Nexus turret.
Wasn't even a joke. But either way, Rumble's going to go down here. And Lulu as well. Tab's still chasing brilliant light binding from Celiva. Will stop that, but for how long? I'm So Fresh has jumped in there. Where's the Void Spike? There it is, but, well, you saw how much damage it did. And almost dead. If not, definitely. Oh, he flashes away. Wow, what a flash from I'm So Fresh. He was dead if that had not worked out for him, but brilliant play from him again. And Millenium holding on.
Yeah, holding on.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Baron is back up again. We do have Super Minions still in their base. We have a Riley's Crystal Scepter now done from Rumble. We have the Shirelia's Revelry. Wow. English is hard. Done for Lulu now, and then a Banshee's Veil done for Caitlyn. So that Malphite ultimate isn't going to mean Jack squad against him, because he can obviously just use that. If anything, he still has it up for the ground slam. So just Millenium not looking very strong. They need to go for pretty much a Desperation Baron, which we saw Nexus do in game number 1, and hopefully pick it up. But I don't really think they have the ability to do that. The inhibitor's coming up, so at least they have their own favor. They keep that way pushed out. They can contest Baron a little bit, but still contesting, it won't really be contesting if they get engaged upon.
Now we see Randuin's Omen finished by Xin Zhao. Finally went home to spend the plethora of cash that he had with him.
Nice word. I liked it. Actually, no, you can't. That's used incorrectly. Yes. English class taught me something.
American class, you mean, Jason? Not English.
It's called
anyway, so Banshee's Veil being picked up as well by Caitlyn. And that can actually be really important in this setup as well. Block a lot of stuff that they can throw down. The question now is, are Millenium going to be baited in? They've not seen that one ward in the bush, which the pink ward actually would have had vision of. Anexis going to keep moving through.
They don't have an Oracle, which is kind of confusing when they want to kind of bait in Baron right now, as you see him staying on top of a ward. The thing is, Millenium's not really going to engage upon him. There's no point. There's not going to win these fights. So now they should be able to have this free Baron. We see, at least currently at the blue buff, going to be backing into base. Has home guard boots, but won't be back in time. And that Baron is dropping very quickly.
Yeah, Baron's going to be taken, and you see Millenium saying, well, they're doing Baron. Let's take, number 3 of the game. But just doesn't quite weigh up. Doesn't quite weigh up in the grand scheme of things. 53.4 to 42.9, over a 10,000 gold lead, double the kills, over double the turrets as well. 32 minutes into this game, and Nexus, it's a case of closing out for them now.
And the thing is, Joe, look at English. Look at items he has. We're 39 minutes, or 32 minutes in, sorry. All he has is a Locket, Ninja Tabbies, and a Negatron. And he was a solo laner. That's the thing. If he was a jungler, he'd be like, oh, that's okay. But he's a solo laner. He needs to be that tank. Well, pretty much needs to be that unstoppable force for his team. But he just isn't. He's 0-6-2 right now. We have I'm so fresh's Kha'Zix. Didn't go tanky at all. We have Elise, who has just a Riley's Crystal Scepter to be beefy. And then you have Tarek, who had to build a Shirley's Reverie, the Ruby Sightstone, and the Ruby Crystal on top of that, just to kind of get some sort of health for his team. But you're going to see him drop here very quickly.
Oh, Fat Mama already taking a lot of damage. The Cocoon not quite landing in there. And Tabs, yes, he's got decent damage here, but how long is he going to be able to survive once they actually turn around and focus onto him? I'm So Fresh is far from being tanky at this point as well. And there is that inhibitor dropped again. And surely they're going to push this bottom lane out. Yeah, we can see Overpower's going to the top. Other 4 members heading bottom, and they're just going to push these both these lanes out.
I don't know if I like that. They're losing a really strong member of their whole team fight synergy. That ability to just run into the enemy team with Overpower and tank up every hit of damage creates just the opportunity for us as team to burst down anyone they want to. And I don't know, without a teleport, I don't really agree with that split.
Well, we'll see. We've seen stranger things in 4-on-5 won at this kind of advantage.
Or actually, good thing is he's coming back. Guess he's just pushing that lane up so it wasn't pushing up against him.
Here we go then. Brazilian guys in front of us laughing a little bit weird there. I thought there was a small dog invading the casting area.
I didn't know that was a laugh.
That was a laugh. Either way, Anexis now. Focus, Joe, focus. Anexis going to be 5 men again to push this bottom lane out, and Millenium know that they can just hope to push them back. There's not really much that they can do to contend with that one. There goes the laser across Angush, already down to half HP from that. And look at the speed of the cooldown there for Celeber. If you look at the icon on the left, it's just ridiculous how fast that comes down.
Pretty sure it's like one of his just regular ability cooldowns. It's at, what, 24 seconds right now? It's obviously going to be up by the time the next minion wave gets there.
Sure, but the point is, the amount of damage it's doing on such a small cooldown at this stage, it's just like, you can't compete with that.
And that's the thing, Lux shouldn't be able to get to that point if you play it correctly. We do have Arcade. Eventually was popped, but Overpowered taking the turret, and we'll get that one. So now, I mean, Millenium has to back off. They have to let that inhibitor fall, but with 2 inhibitors down, without being able to push out the waves, with 2 waves of super minions coming at them, they're not going to be able to win this game.
There we see, inhibitor number 2 gone. Top is the only lane with an inhibitor left. And Nexus just going to do what you'd expect them to do. Head towards that top lane, clear it out, push it through, and then they can focus on the Nexus.
And Angush picking up a second Negatron's Cloak now. Sitting on 141 magic resist, but in the end I think it's going to be too much as if Celevar, if the game doesn't last on any longer, picking up a voice staff's going to completely mitigate that. But Anexis Siege and away Overpower going in.
And So Fresh there taking a good chunk of damage. Angus getting close here. Is he going to initiate? Nope. Backs away. Here we go. Overpower dives in once again. Creatine taking a lot of damage. Rumble ultimate comes down. Creatine is out of the fight now. Grom went fairly low. There is the Wild Growth though, and this is bad times again. Angus gonna fall. That's a double kill for Rumble. Next focus is Tabs. And, well, he's going to repel, but Overpower's like, well, I'm just going to chase you down in the end. There's the ace in the hole, and he is dead. And that is 3 kills. That means surely that they can't protect this last inhibitor. Are they even going to go for that one on Nexus? They've got minions streaming in all over the place. No, they're not. They're going to look to finish out this game. First Nexus turret dropping. Second one's going to go down here pretty quickly afterwards. I'm So Fresh actually will flash away. Wow, Arkwell's going for it here. He wants to get this kill, and he is going to get the kill there in the end. And there are the 2 Nexus turrets already gone. Fat Mammoth stood at the back of the Nexus itself. That is going to be game number 2 here, going over to a Nexus. We're tied up 1-1.